Hey guys! Welcome to a new blind let's play, this one being Detective D, The Silk Rose Murders. As always, I have absolutely no clue what this game is about. All I know is what I saw when I started up the game to make sure I can record properly and went through the settings for that purpose. So, why play this game? My last let's play was The Last Door, which was actually not from my pile of shame, but a gift from a viewer. Thanks for that one once again, Benedictus. You are so kind and I had lots of fun. Thank you very much. I had a great time playing The Last Door, and the closest a game gets to it on my pile of shame is Detective D. I bought this game at some point and haven't touched it since, so I thought playing it would be a good idea. Particularly in that regard that it seems to be a very good one that won lots of awards. So without further ado, let's get going. So I'm just going to show you on the options. There's not that much to do. And that is why we are just going to go and play already. This is a work of fiction. While based on real historical subjects, all characters and events are depicted in a fictional manner. I will have to talk about that in a second. Prologue, diplomatic means. Okay. Penglai, Tang Dynasty, China. The messenger said I would find an officer standing guard. This must be the right place. Oh, okay, so we can already interact, but before we get started off, I have to say, I know that the character that we are playing, this D guy, is actually a legendary but yet historical figure. I know that because I read about him at some point in my life. I can't really remember when, but it seems like he is to be manifested in the Tang Dynasty in China. And as far as I know, he was involved in some kind of jurisdiction, and he had such legendary skills in solving crimes that he actually was kind of made prime minister or chancellor or something like that by the emperor of China. And in that regard, we do play a real hero, a real smart ass in that regard, and I really like that. So, alright, so let's see what we can actually do. These mystic creatures are meant to protect this house. I have a feeling they may have faltered tonight. Oh, okay. Do we have some kind of inventory, or... We do have an inventory. We can have a look at this. I hereby bestow upon you, D. Rengie, or Rengie, the rights and responsibilities as prescribed by imperial law of investigating magistrate of the district of Penglai. My official mandate as decreed by the imperial court. It's authenticated by a royal dragon seal. Interesting. Okay, so we do have the inventory up here. This is... Okay, so resume. We are going to just resume. We're gonna have a look at everything first, because that's how we play games on this channel. We are thorough. Let's have a look at the Weeping Willow. Weeping Willows are believed to help ward off evil spirits. And that should be the same text. Yeah, okay, so we knew about that already. Okay, so let's talk to the guard then. Let's have a look at him first. He must be the officer the messenger spoke of. My name is D. Rengie. I am the newly appointed investigating magistrate of Penglai. A messenger was sent to fetch me only 30 minutes ago. He named Foreign Minister Wang as his employer. I understand I'm meant to help with an urgent matter. You're the new investigating magistrate? Excuse my bluntness, but I wasn't expecting someone so... young. You have a keen eye. I've just recently completed my studies in the capital, and this is my first appointment as a county magistrate. But in my time in the capital, I gained invaluable experience serving as a secretary of the Imperial Archives and as assistant to the Imperial Counselor before that. But I believe the minister requested my presence urgently. We must not keep him waiting. Of course, apologies for my indiscretion, but on a night like this, one can't be too careful. I am Sergeant Feng Chenglong, Minister Wang's private guard. Please, may I see some proof of your title? Well, we do have that. Here we go. We're gonna take that and we're gonna show it to the guard. Thank you, Magistrate D. The minister is waiting for you in the entrance courtyard. Alright, so let's enter then. And here we are. Let's have a look around first. Being totally impolite, which a Chinese magistrate would never be to an official or a higher up or whatever. Let's have a look here. This must be the compound's main water supply. This is Minister Wang. Can't do anything else, so we have to talk to him. Let's have a look at him first. That must be Foreign Minister Wang. I heard he was appointed by the Emperor himself. He's a powerful man. Why would he seek my assistance at this hour? No doubt a matter of life and death. I fear the worst. Okay, so let's talk. You must be Minister Wang.
And you must be DRNG, the new magistrate of our little coastal district. I wish we could have met under less dire circumstances. I understand you've only been at your new post for 2 weeks.
The minister is well informed. I've only begun to settle into my new station. The area is still quite new to me. In truth, I've only visited the military fort so far. This compound, on the other hand, I did not know existed.
Indeed, this estate was built just recently to serve only the most exclusive guests of the Empire. Its existence is strictly on a need-to-know basis.
Let's go with... Why do I need to know? So it appears you've put me in a privileged position. But why?
Of that you are correct, young magistrate. But one word of advice, that position you speak of is fraught with danger. Knowledge, after all, comes at a price. But you seem keen enough. Good. I shall start from the beginning. As you know, this district borders a coastal region that is under constant threat by the Korean Navy. I was sent here and tasked to conduct secret negotiations with my Korean counterpart, Ambassador Choi. The Emperor himself summoned me to help deliver his proposed border treaty, a move that will undoubtedly help him regain favor in the eyes of the court and the kingdom. Needless to say, there are factions that would love nothing more than to see the Emperor fail.
My father served under Our Majesty. He's a capable and beloved ruler.
Your father served a young and vibrant man. Today, the Emperor is an old and feeble leader, a mere shadow of his former self. As his wealth wanes, his wife Wu Zetian grows with influence. As his favor falls, Consort Wu gains power behind the curtains.
The kingdom is prosperous. Who would dare defy the Emperor?
The imperial court is full of usurpers.
Usurpers? Oh, sorry guys, someone who just tries to subvert things, to make a revolution. I know that word, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Waiting for their chance to strike. That is why this treaty is more than a simple diplomatic calculation. Its symbolic value is immeasurable. The Emperor must show his strength, now more than ever, or I'm afraid his legacy will end badly.
Are you suggesting that the Emperor's enemies are on the move?
Of that there is no doubt. If 30 years in the imperial court has taught me anything, it is that no emperor can truly rest. Night after night, he lies awake, anticipating the next shadow. His enemies are too numerous, too persistent.
And what of you, Minister Wang? Where do you stand?
Barely 5 months ago, I was still enjoying the life of a retired official. But who refuses the Emperor? Clearly, he needed an outsider like me for the job, a loyalist unlikely to be influenced by his detractors. Yet tonight, I stand at the precipice, looking clumsily at the bottom of the ravine. Perhaps you can save me? Now come with me.
Okay, what's going on? We still don't know actually. We still have no idea what is actually going on. Moments later, on the far side of the compound.
The unfortunate man you see before you is Choi Yong-jun, Korean ambassador to China. Tonight was meant to be a triumphant victory, but fate has a cruel way of shuffling the deck just as you begin to believe in your own destiny.
Tell me what happened.
Ambassador Choi and I have been meeting here secretly for weeks. Our work on the treaty was almost complete, and we arranged to meet this evening to finalize it. It started innocently enough. Choi and his private guard arrived in time for supper as usual. After a light meal, our business began in earnest over some jasmine tea, just as it had many times before. But what follows is a terrible blur. I remember suddenly becoming very dizzy. Moments later, I felt myself resting my head on the table before me, closing my eyes and unable to open them again. When I woke, it felt like I had slept for hours.
Someone must have witnessed this?
That was my hope. But when I interrogated the others, all had the same answer. Unconscious, each and every one.
And Choi?
He was gone. No one knew what happened to him, so I ordered an immediate search of the entire state. We looked everywhere. In the end, it was his private guard who found him here, murdered in cold blood. Apparently, the ambassador had previously commented on how peaceful this waterfall made him feel.
How tragic. It is hard to deny the serenity of this place. May he rest in peace.
Let me remind you that if we do not find a suitable explanation for the ambassador's death, tonight's events could create a rift between our two nations that no diplomatic means could mend. That is why you must solve this case tonight, or the consequences will be grave. For all of us.
Yes, of course. I shall start my investigation. Has anyone been allowed to leave the premise?
No, I've ordered everyone to stay until this matter is resolved. I myself walked to the nearby military outpost to request a messenger be sent for you. Otherwise, none have been permitted to step outside of this gated compound.
Very well. I shall interview each person and search the area for clues. Alright, we have an achievement for that already. First case. Well, I guess that's not... What is this? Okay, so this is our mission control. Solve Ambassador Choi's murder. Collect evidence to fill out this deduction board. Aha! Interesting, we do have a deduction board. That's cool. Okay, so let's have a look around. What is that? Looks like a partially used candle. We're gonna take that over. A used candle. Is it in the... No, it's not. Okay. That's strange. A partially used candle. Let's have a look at the cap. It looks like a hat. A bloody cap belonging to the ambassador. His body is partially underwater. If any forensics evidence existed, it's likely been washed away. I won't be able to rely on an autopsy, so I'll need to examine him carefully. Okay, let's start with the head. The back of his head has been smashed in by a narrow jagged object, likely killing him on impact. Something is tucked under his undershirt. A silk handkerchief with the ambassador's seal. Silk handkerchief added to the inventory. No defensive wounds or any signs of struggle. Could he have known his attacker? Oh, what about the legs? Some footprints are still visible on the edge of the water. Curiously, it seems he was facing away from his attacker when the assault happened. The blow to his head was fatal, but why was he facing away from his killer? I need to find the murder weapon. Unless he was threatened or carried here, it seems the ambassador came on his own volition. But why? Perhaps he knew the killer. Huh. Okay, so I won't be able to blah blah blah. Okay, so we had this already. I'm just going to click that away. Okay, so we got some clues. Not really. Okay, so we still need to collect some evidence to the waterfall. We could go to the waterfall. We could also just talk to... His gaze is fixated on the ambassador's lifeless body. He still wears a look of disbelief. He still might be the killer, though. We don't know yet, so let's have a little talk. Let's have a little chat once more.
Yes, how can I help?
Why did you ask for me?
As the investigating magistrate of this district, you are responsible for all matters of law and order that arise within its borders. As such, you are judge, jury, prosecutor, and detective. Notwithstanding the secret nature of these meetings, you alone have the jurisdiction to investigate and solve this case. And by the heavens, I hope you do.
Can you tell me more about this compound and the people present tonight?
This compound is comprised of a small house and a private garden which itself surrounds this waterfall. When in use, it is attended to by a staff of 3, a house steward, a cook, and a maidservant. The ambassador and I each have a private bodyguard who remain by our sides at all times.
Where are they now?
You met my guard at the front gate. Ambassador Choi's guard is standing outside this very cave. The house steward is trying to keep himself busy in the main courtyard, and you'll find the cook and the maid servant in the house.
Any idea how you were rendered unconscious?
Some sort of sleep-inducing drug, I imagine. At first I thought our food might have been tampered with, but since dinner was served to only the ambassador and I, this would hardly explain why the others succumbed as well. After waking, I examined the candles that were lit early in the evening, and judging by their condition, it seems we passed out for just half an hour. Yet the remarkable thing is, if all accounts are true, everyone in the house passed out at the same time.
When I worked as secretary of the Imperial Archives, I once read of a case in which a powerful sleeping gas was introduced into a closed room. All within it were knocked out minutes later. If what you say is true, it's highly possible a similar method was used here.
As a matter of fact, at the time of the dinner, all doors and windows were indeed closed.
What happened before you passed out? Did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
I've replayed the events leading up to this disappearance over and over, but alas, nothing suspicious comes to mind.
Were you the first to regain consciousness?
No, the house steward and Choi's guard were already awake. They claim to have come to only moments earlier. The others woke shortly after I did.
Who knew about these secret meetings?
For obvious reasons, the people presently here all have some degree of knowledge about the meetings themselves. But the Emperor himself is the only one who knows the nature of the work the ambassador and I were engaged in. The treaty was only to be made public after we had finalized it. Evidently, we were not cautious enough.
What is so important about this treaty?
Our work here would have ensured a decade of prosperity between our two nations. Who do you think that benefits the most? The Koreans? No, they have no stomach for war against our empire in the first place. Make no mistake, our emperor is the one who would have gained the most from this agreement, allowing him to recapture the hearts and minds of the people in the twilight of his reign. But he will be the one paying most dearly for its failure. Like vultures circling a weak prey, his enemies will advance. Mark my words. You have much to learn, young magistrate. We live in uncertain times. Each move we make now either secures the empire or precipitates its demise.
Do you have any reason to suspect anyone here?
I wish I could say I do, but to my knowledge, no one here had any motive to kill him.
I will investigate further.
Good. I will be in the sitting room if you need me.
Okay. So we have... So there, if you... in a lot of point and clicks, if you press space, the hotspots will show up, but in this game it doesn't. So that means we will have to be very thorough and check out pretty much everything. And we already checked out Ambassador Choi, who unfortunately is dead already. So let's go to the waterfall then. I need to inspect the crime scene evidence more closely before I... Okay, so we still need to do something. His body is partially underwater. Wait a second. So we will have to do something here still. But we had that already. So what am I missing? So I'm missing something. Silk handkerchief. A handkerchief made of expensive silk. The ambassador's seal is embroidered onto the bottom right corner. A fitted imperial cap worn by high-ranking Korean officials. There appears to be a small bulge on the inside. A secret pocket is sewn into the lining. There is a small piece of folded paper inside. An anonymous letter added to the inventory. Good thing we did that. So let's read it. How long will this charade go on? You will not get rid of me so easily. I will have my answer tonight. Was someone threatening the ambassador? Okay, alright, so we got that, which is good. So that means that we can leave now, huh? Yes, we can. There's someone else that we can question. And I guess we will just do that. The death of his master will undoubtedly carry severe consequences upon his return to Korea. So let's just talk to him then. My name is DRNG. I am in charge of this investigation. Are you Ambassador Choi's military guard?
Yes, sir. I'm Captain Bay of the Korean Royal Guard. But there is no need for any further formalities. I do not wish to speak to any Chinese officials until an investigative team from my country is present.
What do you mean?
Why should I trust a Chinese detective when it is under Chinese care that the ambassador has been assassinated? Do you think me that naive?
I can help you find answers, but you have to trust me.
Trust you? How do I know this wasn't a plot concocted by your own government? How do I know you are not part of the act?
I understand your reservations, but if we do not act tonight, the trail may be lost, and we may lose our only chance to apprehend the killer. How can we just do nothing and wait?
I will make a bargain with you. Show me that you are truly here to find the truth. Show me your skills as an investigator, and I will cooperate and answer your questions.
Very well. You have a deal. I will return when I have uncovered more about the case. I shall expect your cooperation. So we can't talk to you? Okay, so we will have to investigate more before we can do actually anything. Okay. Something seems to be stuck inside the tree trunk. The object that's lodged in there is just beyond my grasp. I'll need something to extend my reach. Do we have something to extend our reach? The candle, maybe? Seems unlikely. On second thought, that probably won't work. Yeah, I guess so. So we will need something else to help us. Let's have a look at the stone lantern then. These large stone lanterns help illuminate the garden. Let's have a look at the waterfall because it's so beautiful. I can feel its mist brushing against my skin. Yet there is a gentle stillness to these falls that's hard to describe. Alright, so that's pretty much all that we can have a look to grotto. Okay, so we can, this is where the crime took place apparently. Maybe it took place somewhere else, but we don't know yet. But guys, I'm really sorry. It seems like we have hit the end of the episode mark. If you want to know if we can solve this crime, you'll have to tune in next time for Detective D. And the what was it? What was the underline? Something like Detective D and the Silk Rose Murders? Yeah, it was that. So once again, guys, sorry. So if you want to know if we can solve this crime, you'll have to tune in next time for Detective D and the Silk Rose Murders. See you then.